FIFA President Gianni Infantino recently claimed that the 2022 World Cup in Qatar was the best World Cup ever. And a lot of people do agree with him. But what actually makes a great World Cup, and how does Qatar stack up to the rest? Okay guys, by now you know I like to deal in fives. So before we kick off the video, here are the 5 things we're going to look at which I think make a great World Cup. First of all, we need goals. Second of all, drama. We then need shocks. Shock results. Fourth, we need a great final. Last but not least, we need iconic moments. So let's review all these and see how Qatar stacks up. Number 1, goals. Well, one thing that isn't up for debate is Qatar delivered on goals. 172 in total, making that the record highest number of goals in any World Cup. Despite this feat, not every game was a goal fest. Qatar also equalled the record for the most 0-0 draws in a World Cup at 7. Now we can compare that to 2018 in Russia, where there was only 1 ball draw between France and Denmark, so 7 is still really high. But it's not just about the quantity of goals, it's about the quality as well. Did we see quality goals in Qatar? You're absolutely right, we did. I'm thinking of Chavez's free kick, Rashford's free kick, Messi's goal against Mexico, Richarlison, pretty much every goal he scored was a belter, Mbappe's volley in the final, Aldasari against Argentina, I mean the list goes on. But let's talk for a moment about the types of goals that were scored. Russia 2018 had the most penalties, 29 given with 22 goals scored. That was when VAR was first introduced and it went a little bit crazy. Luckily it's a lot better now. Now Qatar had 20 penalties given in the whole tournament, 14 of which were scored, which means more goals were scored in open play compared to Russia. And there were only 2 own goals in the whole tournament. So in summary, did Qatar deliver on goals? It absolutely did, 100%. Number 2, drama. Drama can come in many different forms. It can come in aggression, joy, controversy, comedy, twists and turns. And did we have that in Qatar? Well, there were certainly loads of twists and turns in the group stages, weren't there? Do you remember Group E? Costa Rica taking a shock lead against Germany, and for a few minutes both Spain and Germany were going out. Or South Korea's last minute winner in Group H against Portugal, sending Uruguay out. And if you want a game with high drama, twists and aggression, then look no further to Argentina versus Netherlands. Now that game was so similar to the infamous Battle of Nuremberg between Portugal and Netherlands in 2006, where there were 4 red cards and 16 yellow cards given. In our 2022 version, the Netherlands equalised in the 101st minute of normal time through a clever free kick, but ultimately lost on penalties. This game had everything: goals, busts up, cards, you name it. The Battle of Nuremberg would have taken some beating, but Argentina and Netherlands sure came close. And when we think of World Cup controversy, the ones that spring to mind are, first of all, of course, the hand of God. But then you've got Luis Suarez handballing it off the line. You've got Zidane's headbutt. England winning it in '66. Did it cross the line? Well, it certainly did in 2010. And Qatar had its own controversial did it cross the line moment in the game between Spain and Japan, where the goal was ruled out and that decision was overturned by VAR based on an angle which we never got to see in real time. I mean, talk about controversy. That goal sent Japan through and Germany and Costa Rica crashing out. Maybe the most controversial thing about the 2022 World Cup was Salt Bae in the final. I mean, what idiot allowed that to happen? Or maybe the most controversial thing was the tournament actually being hosted in Qatar itself. But whatever way you look at it, there was plenty of drama to be had, so Qatar certainly ticks this box. Number 3, shock results. Everyone loves an upset, don't they? Especially at the World Cup. One of the smaller nations taking on the big boys and coming out on top. It's brilliant, and it's one of the ingredients that every great World Cup needs. If you think back to some of the most shocking results that we've had in past World Cups: Senegal beating France in 2002, USA England in 1950, North Korea beating Italy in '66, Switzerland beating Spain in 2010, and of course Argentina losing to Cameroon in 1990. World Cup is just infamous for shocks. And Qatar had plenty of them, from Morocco beating Belgium, Spain and Portugal, to Japan beating Germany and Spain, South Korea beating Portugal, and that's just to name a few. But I think the shock that will define this World Cup, and the one that we'll be talking about in 20, 30, 40 years time, will absolutely be Saudi Arabia beating Argentina in the first game of the group 2-1. I mean, that 90 minutes was pure fantastic. You'll remember in the first half, Lionel Messi gave Argentina the lead for a penalty, and they also had about 3 goals disallowed for offside. And in the second half, Saudi Arabia just came out all gun blazing, showing fight, heroic defending. So when we look at shock results, again, Qatar absolutely hits this category. Number 4, great final. Yes, every great World Cup needs a great final. We've been on a journey from the very start of the group stages, and the final has to have that ultimate payoff of two Goliaths, in this case Messi and Mbappe. And did this one deliver? Well, of course it delivered. It was probably the best final of a World Cup that we have ever seen. In the same fashion as their 1986 win, Argentina went 2-0 up before being pegged back thanks to a penalty and a sensational volley from none other than Mbappe. And it was like two heavyweight boxers just landing punches on each other. Messi scores, Mbappe scores. 2-2, we've got extra time. Lionel Messi gives Argentina the lead, only for Mbappe to cancel it out for another penalty, setting up a penalty shootout. Both Messi and Mbappe scored their penalties in the shootout, but it was Gonzalo Montiel who sealed it for Argentina with their fourth penalty after some crafty heroics from Martinez. So in our fourth category, does Qatar deliver on a great final? I think not only does it deliver, it's probably given us the best final ever. Number 5, iconic moments. As time goes on and we have more World Cups and we have more football, we can only remember so much. We don't remember every single game, every single result, every single goal, every single decision. But what we do remember is iconic moments. I'm talking about the hand of God and the goal of the century in 1986. I'm talking about Brazil being humiliated in 2014 on their own turf. I'm talking about Bobby Charlton and Pelé lifting the World Cup in 1966 and 1970. So what great moments did we have in this World Cup? Well, we had Ronaldo becoming the first player to score in 5 World Cups. We had Morocco becoming the first African team to get to the semi-finals. We had Mbappe scoring a hat-trick in a World Cup and still losing. We had all the shocks that we've mentioned. But for me, I think the most iconic moment will be similar to 1970 and 1986. We think of them as Pelé and Maradona's World Cup. 2022 will forever be Messi's World Cup. When we are grey and old, talking to our grandchildren, we will tell them about 2022 and Messi. Just focusing on the football and the facts that we've gone through today, there is no denying that Qatar was an absolutely fantastic World Cup. But that's my views. What are your views? Do you think Qatar was the best World Cup ever? And if not, what was and why? Please tell me in the comments, like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you again.